afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is CIWY back at it again with another fire episode of Voices of Value podcast. We've brought our co-host back on, Milad Ghasempour, to the right of me. One of the most handsome white and Persian men you'll ever meet in your life. If you're looking for a partner and you're a female and you're above the age of 22, Milad Ghasempour. Outside of that, if you're looking for a co-founder and you're above the age of 32, Milad Ghasempour. If you're looking for somebody to pretend like he can speak Farsi in a moment of distress, Milad Ghasempour. Outside of that, we're going to talk about random business topics today. We're going to scroll through my email. We're going to just read things and just catch a vibe. You know what I'm saying? We're going to catch a vibe, talk about a few different topics. And more importantly, you're going to subscribe today and you're going to share this podcast with a friend because it is the only way we can grow. And before you do that, you're going to type in Leo Moreno Jr. Boxing Club in Overland Park, Kansas, and you're going to save it as the location you need to visit every single day for the rest of your life so you can get your hands right. Because right now, your life's in danger. Because a man is going to walk up on you on the street, and he's going to be like, hey, you, I don't like you. And he's going to punch you in your chin, and you're not going to know how to respond. Okay? But if you move with love, respect, kindness, and a smile on your face like Carl Stetzer, you'll never face violence. Just kidding. That's not true. Moving on. Today, if you're scrolling through your email, Milad, and all of a sudden you see $0 to $10,000 in 27 days, what's the first thought that comes to mind?
$0 to $10,000 in 27 days? Oddly specific.
Okay, but what comes to mind? Are you going to read this email?
Internet business.
An internet business. What type of internet business?
One that probably sells a product that has low overhead, so either a service or a digital product.
Give an example for those dummies out there that don't know what you just said.
A service could be anything that you do for somebody else, so you're just exchanging your time for money, or a digital product where you just created one thing one time and then you're selling it over and over again, like a course, PDF, something of that nature, some sort of media.
So I was just scrolling through my email. I see $0 to $10,000 in 27 days as an online fitness trainer. My first reaction is delete the email, which I just did. How do you feel about that decision?
For you personally or just in general?
Just in general.
In general.
You feel like I should have taken the time to read that?
Maybe.
Why?
Well, you're trying to do online training, so it's kind of relevant to you.
If you saw that and it says as a digital marketer or as a Google SEO specialist, what would you have done? Would you have opened the email and read it, or would you immediately get like icky online advertiser vibes and want to delete it because you don't believe what they're going to say is going to provide value?
I'm a marketer, so I know they're already trying to market something to you, so I would probably delete it, yeah.
Okay, which is how I felt. But sometimes I wonder, is there some vibes in that message? Is there something I missed? Could I have read the thing that was going to change my life as an online fitness coach? And oftentimes I think probably wasn't anything in there. But when I send these type of emails out where it says, the subject line is like, achieve your fat loss goals in 6 months, I wonder what people think when they read that. Like when they look at that subject line and they're like, achieve my fat, delete, just another little fitness marketer. Like, how do you know whether your subject line is going to get read or not read, or whether it seems internet or clickbaity or vibes? I've always thought about subject lines and do they actually matter, and why do these business people make it seem like they matter a lot, or do they matter a lot? Because I know when I read subject lines, most of the time, especially if they sound like catchy, I just delete that shit.
Well, I mean, it's just like, hey, beautiful, how are you doing? Versus, sup, bitch? Like, you're getting two different vibes there. Like, what are you communicating initially? You're setting the tone for like what this interaction is gonna look like. So like, be intentional about that, but also know your audience a little bit and figure out like what things are important to them, and just test. Change 2 words. Change the first word. Change the last word. Change the call to action. Test. You're not gonna know until you test. Whatever you think might be like super intuitive and that's what's gonna work. Probably not, right? Because you're on the inside, not on the outside. It's really hard to tell what ingredients are in Coke if you're inside the bottle. You can't read the label from the inside.
That's valid, in case you can read backwards and see through dark liquids. But, that's neither here nor there. So what's your favorite outreach strategy as somebody who's trying to grow your business? And real quick, share what space you're in and what you do for work and what you're trying to build right now so that people understand context.
Yeah, I'm a digital marketer. So Right now, I'm focusing primarily on call-only ads. So emergency services, people going on Google trying to find something because they need help right away, and calling somebody. So clicking on that ad, and it just dials that business owner's phone number. They talk, have a conversation with that person, give them a quote, convert them, whatever it is. So that's what I'm focused on. I love paid advertising. I think paid advertising is the easiest way for you to get in front of a large audience. And if you have money, it's the most efficient. If you don't have money, then you should go to content and try to figure out the algorithms and figure out how to get reached that way and build your own audience, right? Email lists are obviously better than social media audiences because your social media profile disappears, your audience is completely gone. Now, you could have an email list and your domain gets shut down because it's spammy, but you still have all the emails of all the people that are subscribed to you. So you just spin up a new domain and just start sending them again back to those same people because they're already still subscribed to you. But if your Instagram gets shut down, you're like, well, I guess I got to start from zero and rework the algorithm and do all that. So for me, it's paid advertising because I can leverage that audience that already exists and just pay to get that reach. And then it gives me the ability to immediately test. It's like, okay, cool. I put out this message in front of 2,000 eyeballs. How was that response? I put out a different message. How was that response, right? So you automatically get that feedback of like in front of people's faces and how they're reacting to it in real time.
So what do you feel about, so by paid advertising, is there a specific route that you prefer right now? So that could be Facebook, it could be Twitter ads, it could be TV ads, it could be, what else? Snapchat ads, like it could be just, Google ads, it could be YouTube. Like, what would you say is your go-to recommendation right now? Obviously, there's no right or wrong answer to this question, but just a favorite for you in terms of what you think to be most valuable or what you look at in a company to decide what a paid advertisement route they should go.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to like whatever you're actually trying to provide to people.
Boom.
So
online fitness coaching, I'm trying to sell to business executives who are looking to improve their wellness, reduce body fat, and increase total energy, just energy in general. I'm looking to sell 30 to 50-year-olds on the coasts of America.
So that's going to be super hard to go to Google and target people for. People aren't just searching in all of those different things. Now, people might go to Google and search for online training. It's probably going to be really expensive, though, and you're probably going to have to pay a lot for every lead. So then that just churn and burn. Like it's your ad dollars are going to go very quickly. So for that, I'd probably go something on like Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube. YouTube is a lot cheaper than Facebook and Instagram right now. You can get leads for like 30 cents. Problem is nobody wants to put their face on the internet, talk that talk, and actually deliver a good message to people. They don't have the confidence behind camera. They don't really have the aptitude to like just speak with confidence and speak to an audience online. Now, that being said, you can still graph that message and target those people based on their interests. So you can say, okay, I only want to target people in the Eastern and the Pacific time zone. And I only want to target people that are above the age of 35. And I only want to target people that are interested in business, in fitness. And there you go. Now you've got an audience of, 36 million people. And then from there, it's just like, okay, how many impressions or how much, volume am I going to get for $100, $200, $500, whatever it is? You can spend $30 a day and still get, a couple of leads a week. And then from there, work those leads and convert them and just figure out that message and that offer. Like, okay, we started trying to just go straight into it and just start talking about online training and just pitching them right off the bat. That worked for some people. It didn't work for other people. It's like, okay, we only converted about 30% of our leads. How can we get that up to 50? Because these are people that are interested. We already got our audience nailed down. We already know that these are people that I can service. So how do we get that up to 50, 60%? Okay, let's talk them through that process. Let's figure out their needs. Let's speak to their pain points. Just working that process and figuring out exactly how you can make, turn those dollars into even more dollars and make your ad dollars work for you instead of against you.
So we're gonna have some fun with this and see if you can give a decent answer to this question. I'm an OnlyFans creator.
I know where this is going.
I just launched my OnlyFans page, and I'm looking to grow the amount of subscribers I have on my OF. I am not necessarily targeting a certain demographic because I just got on the app. All I'm doing is sharing videos of me squatting in a male thong and doing lunges and doing shoulder presses and just doing some sick lifts, hitting PRs in a male thong. How should I grow my OF page?
You should definitely just start posting that content everywhere that will allow you to.
And like where? No. Who's going to allow me to post that type of content?
Twitter.
Okay, so
Twitter's going to be big. I don't think Threads is going to let you do that. Reddit could be a good place to do that.
Okay.
You could just go straight to CORNHUB and do that directly if you wanted to.
Okay.
You don't have to be like straight up explicit on that site.
Mm-hmm.
You could also run ads on CORNHUB. You could just straight up just go out and, say, hey, I'm going to put this in front of like 1,000 people and only pay like 40 cents to do that. Great way to get in front of somebody else's audience without actually having to create unique content and figure out the algorithm at that point. So Twitter, I think you can kind of do some less explicit stuff on Instagram and Facebook. Reels are huge. TikTok is crazy. It's the Wild West. It's still maturing. Mm-hmm. So they will kick you off for like the most random things.
Yeah, my girl got suspended multiple times, and she's just wearing leggings.
Yeah,
just wearing leggings.
So I wouldn't waste your time on that until you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So don't bet on that horse just yet, but still keep an eye on it and keep working it. But
social accounts that you happen to see crazy shit on already. So Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr. Running ads on websites that are already for that demographic.
And even like behind the scenes stuff. So instead of like posting the explicit stuff, like the creation of that explicit content on YouTube. That would be great too.
Okay, got you.
It's super spicy. People are interested in it,
Okay, and then do captions matter on Twitter? Do you feel like the words around videos matter, or like how important are captions or the quality of the copy when it comes to Twitter for my OF videos, snippets?
No, I think you just need to figure out how to build audience engagements and build a community on Twitter. So Twitter, all these platforms are getting really advanced. Instead of you like having to like put in all this data like on the back end and like, optimize it and, put your hashtags and all this stuff, it can just algorithmically read your content. It's like, okay, this is fitness content. We're going to push this to a bunch of different fitness people. You just go around and start engaging with other fitness accounts. It'll pick it up pretty quickly. So now it's just about consistently posting that content and then figuring out what people actually like. Do we need to, cut out the most exciting part, the arc of the story, and put that at the front so then people are hooked on automatically? Do we need to, add some more visual effects to this? Do people care about the squat videos, or do they just want deadlift videos, or whatever that is? Just figuring out exactly what gets your audience going and then just create more of that and then test variations of whatever has been proven to work.
Male OnlyFans creators who love to lift, get the cross-country runner shorts, the ones that are like
the
high up on the thigh. Yeah, like the 3-inch seams, like super small seams. Deadlift, booty facing video. Pause. I'm just trying to help y'all out, all right? You know what I'm saying? But throw that on Twitter. Put in your numbers with a winky face, like, 455 for 3. Winky face, some crazy sexually implied emoji, and do that for 6 months. You're gonna be a top OnlyFans creator in the male market.
Now, do you? I don't know if you're ever familiar with this, but there was like one of OF's like top creators, like was on TikTok.
Like, creating content on
TikTok,
but like
none of it was explicit. It was straight up vlogs. It was like, this is a day in the life. This is me getting into my G-Wagon. I'm going over here to get a natural smoothie. Now we're going to hot yoga, and then we're going to go to Target, and then we're going to go get some more Starbucks. And, like, it was literally just, like, making it so personable that people, like, really thought that they knew this person. So then it just
made the OF experience 20x more.
Yeah, because you're more invested.
That's smart. If you could technically build an entire personal brand, vlogger or foodie or whatever, but the link that you put in your bio is your OnlyFans link.
Yep.
That's really not a terrible idea that people could approach wow, that's really not, because everyone thinks that you have to go the explicit or sexually, and of course that helps, but implying sexual innuendos or just your outfit or something, being provocative. But real talk, if you're creating cool enough content, like I know plenty of Kansas City, men and women who create food content, like just going to food restaurants across Kansas City. If you just put like the food link and then you put OF as well in the link, people are going to purchase that because they get to know you and they're like, wait, what are they posting? And then you could literally just put weird food shit mixed in there. Anyways, let's move off this topic because I only wanted to talk about it for about 10 seconds. But nonetheless, we just gave y'all a few ideas. You don't have to be provocative on your TikTok, but if you are an OnlyFans creator, you're trying to get an OnlyFans, just post some dope-ass content for a long period of time and make sure the link in your bio leads them there. Instead of it to your website, instead of to an email lead, whatever it is, send them to your OF. Shebang, shabow, kick, clack, pow, cash, route. 50 Cent is in the house. I'm a rapper now. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Nike started making fitness equipment. So Nike has been well known for, if you see the check mark, you think athlete, you think movement, you think running. We have whatever his name, Fontaine, one of the greatest runners of all time, early on in the Nike story. We have Michael Jordan early on in the Nike story. We have, what was Buddy's name? I forgot Buddy's name, but anyways, we think athletics, they've built their brand around making you feel like if you're involved in the brand, you're automatically in shape, you're a wellness, you're a sports performer, like you can perform, and that's what they've always done. But they've never made fitness equipment. They haven't made plates, they haven't made barbells, they haven't made dumbbells, they haven't made anything equipment focused with their branding on it. But this year in 2023, about 3-4 months ago, they dropped a barbell, a very beautiful barbell, very sleek. The branding was on point, of course. The presentation of the plates and of the barbells, obviously way more a vibe than the basic silver lining barbells we see at the gym. Just sexy. Now, they make their plates, which are rubber plates, out of recycled rubber,
recycled material from shoes.
Recycled material from shoes, I believe. They utilize that recycled material to create the 45-pound plates, 25-pound plates, things of that nature. They're doing this because at the same time, Nike is also making efforts to create fitness, group fitness-esque brick and mortar locations. So like we have Cycle Bar, like we have Soul Cycle, like we have F45, like we have Orange Theory. They have, over the past few years, messed around with pop-up concepts throughout popular areas like New York City and Los Angeles, Newport Beach, things of that nature, testing out these concepts, bringing like top creators, top influencers, top models into settings where they're like, what is it called? They're MVP, basically, minimum viable product of what this experience would be like, but inviting, the top people in different industries to experience this. I believe they opened their first location in Newport Beach with like this little Nike concept. And of course, like Nike would, they're like, well, we got to have Nike branded shit in here. And so that's why they launched the things. I have not seen them in any gyms nearby, nor do I know if they're selling it like mass market yet, or if it's just something that they like kind of did a little micro launch on. But what's your thoughts on Nike getting into the fitness equipment, and maybe even going as far as designing gyms for people like Rogue does? They can kind of put the whole design together, where you're going to put things, how you're going to build it, and like doing full gym build outs. Where do you see like Nike fitting into that market, or do you think it's even worth it for them to do that? Mind you, over the past 5 years, especially during the pandemic, they gained a lot of notoriety around the workout aspect of it because they launched their Nike Fitness app. They already had a Nike Running app. The Nike Fitness app had plenty of workouts from top trainers in the world for free for the entire pandemic, all the way till today, still free. Free Nike Fitness workouts that are structured strength programs, running programs, athletic-focused conditioning, like all types of well-put-together programs for free. So they've been messing around in this market already. They have some type of distribution deal with Netflix where they've now put all of those Nike workouts and Nike programs of some of their trainers onto Netflix. So if you just type in Nike or Nike workouts, you can literally just pull up workouts and work out in your sitting room to Nike workouts through watching through Netflix. So mind you, they've been playing in this space for a while, but what do you think about physical products for the fitness equipment or fitness tool space? What do you think about their foray into this area?
Yeah, I mean, I think it with Nike, you're approaching like a brand that is like just basically untarnishable. It's gonna be really hard to destroy the Nike brand. Like it is just that strong, and people identify as like a Nike person versus an Adidas person or Under Armour or Puma or whatever else it is. Like it's part of your identity. Like, are you an Android user? Are you an iPhone user?
Mm-hmm.
iPhone, Nike,
Adidas, right? Yeah.
Same thing at this point, right? Like it's that premium luxury experience that people want. And for Nike to kind of do that and like really just get you into a physical space that you pay them for to use things that are branded by them and have this Nike-esque Nike athlete experience. It connects with your Apple Watch or your Nike Band, or they used to have the thing that you put in the shoes and it would track your thing, Nike Plus or Fly or whatever.
Yeah, I think Plus. I think Nike Plus. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like all that stuff connects, and like I can just like put it up to the treadmill or the rower or whatever machine equipment I'm using, and then like it knows exactly what barbell I picked up, and it knows what dumbbells I picked up, what their weight is, and it just automatically logs everything into my app and all that. Like that would be a great experience. People would pay a lot of money to do that, and it would just, and again, get you more and more entrenched into the customer experience of what it means to be someone who identifies and uses Nike products. So there's just strong core values there. That
you don't think that they could lose in that space, essentially, is what you're saying. It's like not a bad idea. It's just going to be another market that they do pretty well in.
I don't think they could lose in it.
Yeah. Because they've already created everything around it that you need, that energy, the perception of who you will be if you participate in purchasing or wearing a Nike product. So now you can step into a space where you can develop the Nike body, or you can utilize the tools that will help you create that Nike athlete, persona physically.
Oh, I mean, they're just so correlated and connected with being like fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it'd be untouchable.
They're so far ahead of Adidas and Puma in that light in terms
Absolutely.
of like feeling. Adidas and Puma are stylish. They're cool for running, cool for a little bit of basketball, but nobody that I don't even think they're touching now. I don't know about what the money looks like from revenues and whose business has done better over the years. Obviously, I know Nike has done better, but in terms of if there's been years where Adidas has been up there with them in terms of performance, if we took Yeezy out of, let's take Yeezy out of there. That's not fair. We're going to take Yeezy out of there. But they've just created such a obvious, the easiest word I can use is just persona brand around who do you go to become the athlete. If you want to look like an athlete, we're going to go to the Nike store and purchase Nike gear. If you want to become an athlete, we're going to go to the Nike app and use the Nike workouts. If you're going to go to a gym that's branded Nike, the Nike gym or the Adidas gym or Three Stripe gym or the Under Armour gym, you're going to go to Nike. Like that's where you're going to feel most confident that you're going to reach your fitness goals. Like if they were to dive into this full-fledged and turn into like launch a franchisee Nike gym thing like F45, but Nike runs it. Kind of like a McDonald's-esque, but then McDonald's sells franchise locations. Yeah. So if Nike did the same thing, but with like a functional fitness style gym that they franchised out. Another interesting model that interesting business that they could foray into.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It'd be very interesting.
I think, like, if you were to go back to the Apple comparison, like, it's not like Apple trying to get into cars. Like, that is just, that's a big jump.
Very big jump,
like,
yeah.
You're, like, yes, Tesla has kind of made cars, like, very techy, so it's still, but we're not, that gap still needs to be closed before it makes sense for Apple to jump to the car. And, like, cars are an old thing that need to be disrupted, right?
For sure.
But, like, gym equipment, it's still old, and I think Nike can really...
It's a very linear. Yeah, it's just like step over. It's not a linear up, down, and across, which is what Apple's trying to do with the car situation. But it's funny that you do mention Apple because I think a beautiful partnership in the space of wellness would be if Nike and Apple collabed on something. I don't know what that would look like, but Apple is absolutely going to be a monster and already is a monster in the health and wellness space.
Absolutely.
But the amount of products and tools they're trying to create, from glucose monitors to shit that tracks things all the way down to like the macros you're eating by using your iPhone to just put like a image over it, and it don't need no barcode. It just automatically, based off the size of the banana and the fact that they recognize as a banana, they have like something that they've been creating to automatically track that. Like, just put that shit over your meal and it gives you a general estimation of what you're eating. Like, they are playing around with so many things in that space that look pretty good. And if you take that over to, and they already have Apple Fitness Plus as well, which is basically Nike workouts, but for a cost. So they charge for that. But plenty of people use that as a digital fitness app, the Apple Fitness Plus. So they're already in that space. They've been in that space. Plus, they have the tie-in with the watches. They have the tie-in with your Apple Health in your iPhone. Now, if we could see a collaboration between Nike and Apple in that space, with their brands being already so strong in that fitness, that health and wellness ecosystem, I feel like they could do something fucking crazy. I doubt they will, because I think they probably are going to look at each other as competitors in that space nonetheless. But if they could figure out a way to sync up on some shit, I don't know what it could look like, but it would look pretty fucking beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's all I know. That was something I've been meaning to talk about for weeks, just because I found the barbell and the plates to look very sleek and beautiful, and I was like, of course Nike would make this shit look amazing. So I was excited to chat about that. Back to emails. I was opening my email, saw an email from Alibaba. Initial thoughts on Alibaba. Tell me, have you used Alibaba before? In what light? And what are your general thoughts or knowledge on Alibaba? Anything Alibaba. Let's just chat Alibaba for a second. I'll share a little bit of mine. All right. Kyle Stetzer tried to launch a T-shirt brand called, basically it was an offshoot of the podcast. So I had the podcast, which was the Culture Talks at the time, not Voices of Value yet. But the tagline for the Culture Talks was Voices of Value. So there was still a tie in there. And so I put VOV on the back of the shirts, and then the phrase on the front was the Culture Talks. So when I was sourcing different manufacturers I wanted to go through to like create hoodies or track pants and things like that, I tried to use Alibaba, tried to like do this communication, ended up on FaceTime with the manufacturer in China, couldn't understand anything he was saying, and I had to stay up till like 3 a.m. and I was like, this ain't for me. I'm gonna go through the simple routes and just order through Jiffy shirts, and then I'm gonna take them to a printer here in Kansas City and print them out. That is my only experience with Alibaba, plus hearing a lot about drop shipping or about finding these small products that essentially end up being what they call, hero products. So products where you could promote it on TikTok. It's very simple, I guess, value add to your life. And then you promote it, and then people like click on it, they go to your website, and they can purchase it very simply in your small little store. Something like wristbands or bands that track your steps, or beads for the end of your Nike shoelaces, because there's a trend going on that has beads on your Nikes. Like little shit like that you end up because you're the first person to promote it on TikTok or the first person to promote it on Instagram, you end up being the killer in that space and making like $100,000 a month off of fucking beads that you put on your Air Force Ones. So that's kind of like my thought process around Alibaba. You can find anything and everything you want for a cheap price. Now, getting a hold of a manufacturer or guaranteeing quality of that product, or knowing exactly when that product is actually going to arrive in the States at your front door, that's a whole nother story. But what's your experience with Alibaba? And, if you want to share who or what Alibaba is, and if you know that off the top of your head, feel free to share that as well.
Yeah, so Alibaba is owned by Jack Ma, who's, I think, Chinese, the most richest person in China.
Yep.
Basically...
disappeared last year for a while because of the Chinese government. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, politics. But basically, Chinese Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
And Alibaba is basically Amazon that we have here in the U.S. China is just different, bro. There is 1 billion freaking people.
That's a lot of people.
Okay.
How many people in America? If you don't know, I'll just Google it while you're talking.
I want to say 330 million.
USA population,
2025.
2023.
Yeah.
334 million.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're growing.
Still ain't a billion, though. We far from a billion.
And we still got the biggest GDP.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
put that
Anyways,
in
continue.
perspective, right?
Yeah.
So huge, right? Just massive. 3 times the size of the U.S. And yeah, I mean, I ordered a product off of there. I ordered like a little car vent magnet so I could just put my phone up and mount it while I was driving. That shit took like 6 weeks to get here, and this thing is this big around. Like I can just grasp it and cover it with my hand. You wouldn't know it's in my fist. It just completely. I was just blown away. But I just had to get the experience of like, okay, what is this like? Yeah, people. I mean, I think the most. So it's more Chinese focused. It's a little bit different than Amazon because they may have like minimum order quantities.
Yes, they have. That's a big thing for them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that may be something that you have to deal with, right? You want to buy, you want to buy anything. It doesn't matter. You want to buy some flashlights. Like minimum order quantity is 260, and you're like, I have to order 260 of these just to order them. Like, yes, you do. They don't have that on Amazon. Amazon is very focused on being direct to consumer. AliExpress is more B2B. Now, if you were to think about like in terms of like quality and like the same experience in terms of like shipping and like this kind of stuff that you're going to get, but more B2C focused, Wish.com. That's going to be the equivalent of like what you're going to get with Alibaba. But again, no minimum order quantities, none of that kind of stuff. And you don't really have to deal with suppliers or any of that issues. Like they have handled all that stuff on the back end. So you just click press and it's just the same experience on Amazon, except it takes 6 weeks instead of 2 days. So you can go on there, you can find manufacturers. It's where a lot of people start off when they're kind of building products, because you can just find stuff and you can be like, oh, cool, I'll just put my label on this and then just go sell it.
Yeah, why label it?
Yeah, and they'll find stuff that's like, popping off on TikTok, and like that's how like people start their business, and they build relationships in supply chains, and they figure it out from the ground up. If I were somebody that was like trying to really build a product, I would not go that route. I would go find somebody who's already done that here in America. I would figure out exactly what they did and figure out how you can buy stuff that's made here in America and start your business that way. And then from there, I would figure out how to, instead of having somebody else produce the product for you, build your own supply chain, figure out how to get all those components together, and then actually, because you're doing so much volume with that manufacturer, you can dictate the terms of like, okay, we are only going to use this quality that is this specific grade for this component of the product, and we're only going to source this particular paint or this color scheme from this supplier. And that way you have more control over like what the actual end product looks like, and you can really, again, like just deliver on that marketing promise of like, this is going to be the customer experience. It's just like Apple and opening up those stupid boxes that everybody keeps, right? Why do we keep those freaking boxes? Like, because that unboxing experience where like it just slowly comes up and then all of a sudden it just pops. It's amazing. It just like, if you've ever opened an Apple product, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can almost get that feeling back of like opening up a new iPhone or a new MacBook. Like it's just so awesome, and they've really done a great job of like delivering on that quality of their brand. So being able to control those little touch points, that's how you really build a brand that's as strong as Apple and Nike.
And you ain't lying. Opening an iPhone box is one of the most beautiful experiences ever. Opening an Air Force One Nike box. You buy some new Air Force Ones, incredible. You open it and the freshness. I ain't a black Air Force guy. You dig what I'm saying? I don't behave black Air Force, ways. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm an all white Air Force type of guy. Shout out my boy Nesto, R.I.P. my brother. But you put me on the Air Forces. You were the reason I had my first pair of Air Force Ones because you used to rock them, keep them clean. Anyway, shout my dog. Anyways, so yeah. Beautiful experience. So being able to recreate that, which kind of gets into the topic of you need to study brands that you love before you launch one of your own. And while you're say you launched one of your own already, you need to order your competitors' products or your potential competitors, because at the end of the day, it's not your competitor if you're fucking making $100 a year. If your revenue is $100, you haven't sold shit yet, Nike is not your competitor if you're making shoes. They're not your competitor yet. But what you can do is study who you want to be your potential competitors, because that is another way to motivate yourself and understand the direction you're trying to go. So if I'm an online fitness coach and I know that I know that Jason Phillips is one of the most sought-after online fitness coaches in the country, you know, and he's training all these, you know, well-known business executives, and I'm trying to be in that same lane. Then I need to study what he's done to build his business. What type of content is he posting? What's his experience look like? What does fulfillment look like as a coach? And then work my, you know, reverse engineer from there. So the same idea is if you're creating, let's say, dope-ass do-rags, right? And you know a company that's already killing the do-rag experience, and you're watching people type in, let's just say this company's name is Dion's Do-Rags, right? So type in hashtag Dion's Do-Rag on TikTok and look at people's unboxing experience. If it's a big brand, you're going to find it. So look at the unboxing experience. Look at what their customers are saying. What are the customer reviews? And figure out how you can reverse engineer that experience in your own authentic way. How can people really connect with your brand, be impressed, and you leave a memorable experience? So we went to KC Night Market a few weeks ago. We were walking around KC Night Market, which is literally a market of vendors here in Kansas City who set up tables to sell their products. It can be t-shirts, it can be earrings, it can be handmade pots, things of that nature. And one table we went to, they were selling vintage clothing. What they had coming up on Christmas was a mystery box. So they had packages that were called a mystery package. And that caught my eye. I was like, this is fire. And they're like, yeah, there you might find a random Gucci shirt in there, or you might find a random Gucci shirt with like a Nike wristband or something like that. You never know what you're going to get. It's just your mystery package. And you purchase those. That was like their most expensive product because you don't know what's in there. So they sell all of them at $150 for their mystery package. And when they sell it, you never know what you're going to get. Might be some fire shit worth more than $150. You might get some shit that's basic, worth $20, and you spend $150 on it. But nonetheless, I found that impressive and memorable, and a great way to like get customers to be like, oh, this is dope. So just thinking about small little ways you can do that. I know my guy, Clever World, I'm forgetting your name right now, my apologies, but he has a very dope setup at all his vending setups. He has like this all green turf on the ground, a green backdrop. The colors are on point. He has a shit ton of stock there. The way he pulls up with his wagons and everything, like he sets a precedent for how you're gonna perceive his brand when you get there. So I don't know if what I just said is making sense, but nonetheless, these are things you need to think about when you're getting ready to launch a brand, or especially if you're planning on going the Alibaba route or ordering products, or Amazon, what is it called, FBA or whatever. Yeah. Like the product may not be special because other people are selling that product, but your presentation, the content creation that you're going to put out there to generate interest, how you ship it, how fast it gets there, the unpacking experience, like that's going to get people to repost. That's going to get it to go viral. That's going to become the reason you grow, not just selling some product that's supposed to be dope.
Yeah. It reminds me of this thread on Threads that I saw from...
This thread on Threads. I've never heard that yet, but anyways.
Marquise Brownlee?
Yes, black guy, the tech guy on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't know, he just does tech review products, and he's like the biggest person to do it.
Yeah.
He's just huge.
Been doing it for a while. He's like the tech Casey Neistat.
Yeah. So here's the thread, right? Step 1, decide what you want to buy. Step 2, watch every YouTube video that's ever been created about it. Step 3, advanced, buy it, and then make a YouTube video on everything that wasn't in the other videos. Step 4, start a 15-year product review. Okay. So, again, you don't really have to go in the product review route to do that, but, take note of what everybody else is doing, and then, yeah, this kind of sucks. I would do this better. Or, that was kind of cool, but could be executed better. Here's what I would do. Take notes of that stuff. Do it better than your competitors will. Do the things that they're not willing to do. Figure it out. And that's how you're going to differentiate your stuff. Oh, it's only 10% better. Yeah, but 10% in that space makes the product worth 5x, because people are willing to pay to have that thing just be that much closer to perfect.
Facts. I love it. I'm over here thinking what can I do? Okay, 2-hour coaching calls instead of 30 minutes. I'm like, 2 hours. Okay, I got to bring something. I was like, what can I do to make my shit better? But really, that is the best way to think about it. Just Alex Hormozy talks about it a lot. Write down everything you could do to help this person, and then delete shit that really isn't that fire. Find the most fire and hard to fulfill, but super valuable situations and the services you could provide for that person, and then focus all in on those 3 things. You might have wrote down 45 of them, but go through which ones are the most valuable, and then just fulfill. Do your best that you can do there. Now, you talked about USA-made products, which made me wanted to shout out one of our old guest, Max Gondek. He came on to the show virtually, and he has everyday carry gear made in the USA, where he makes like pocket knives. He makes jar openers, and they're like super sleek, well-made, handmade products that he like gets manufactured in the USA. Costs a lot, but branding solid. It's a niche product you could have got from China, but like because he presents it USA made, high quality, gets to your house in 10 days, like, or 7 days, things like that. It becomes it's expensive, but if you really care about what you're about to do and you want that quality to be fire, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Go check them out, and you'll understand what I mean. Gondek EDC. So GONDEK EDC. Shout out to my boy Max.
So people often are like, man, I don't want, like, I can just go buy the same thing at Walmart. And it's like, yeah, girl, yeah, you can do that, right? But you're going to go buy that same thing at Walmart like 9 times because you're going to lose it. It's going to get, you're going to lose it because you don't care about it. You're going to break it because it's not made to last. You're going to wash it, and then it's going to get ruined and rusted or whatever else the situation is going to be. And it just reminds me of this JID lyric that I literally just heard, and he said
JID?
JID.
I just heard you say GID.
JID.
Got
Yeah.
you.
JID. It's some refer to it.
No, JID.
JID. So he said,
because technically there's a dot in between each of them, so it would be
it's all caps. I don't know. I don't see any.
Right?
I don't see any dots on Spotify.
You didn't see no dots?
Not on
I've been
Spotify.
seeing dots. Anyway, go ahead.
So he said being broke is an expensive lifestyle.
You ain't lying though.
Yeah, because you have to be reactive instead of proactive. So you could, if you don't have $20 to spend to solve this little problem, then when it comes time to like actually solve that problem, now it's $200.
Health insurance.
Right? Like you just spent, right? But like $20 to go buy something made in America versus like the time, energy, and just the freaking frustration of having to buy the same thing over and over again because it keeps breaking.
Side note, do you have any other favorite rap lyrics that just come to mind, like phrases from rappers?
At the moment?
Just in your head right now, like anything that stands out to you, like just a rap lyric that stands out to you.
No, not at the moment.
Nothing.
That one, yeah. No, nothing PG or insightful.
What are you thinking about over there, sir? Okay, so before we got on this podcast, we were talking about selling dogs, buying dogs, things of that nature, and it reminded me that Kansas City is actually very well known for dog food or manufacturing different pet foods. So there's certain parts of Kansas City, if you drive through them, smell a little weird. They smell a little awkward, and that's because you're driving past manufacturing plants that make dog food. Also, the dog food industry
is that you visit.
Say again.
Nothing.
It tells us a lot of things about the parts we visit. Is that?
I was just thinking you were.
Are you talking shit?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
On my show? I'm just playing. It's your show now. Telling it. $1? Would you buy it for $1? Good, because I'd sell it for $1 million.
Final offer.
No. What should we do? Eastside? $2 or $5? he's like, I'm ready. Hey, regardless, you could whoever having it, I'm still here. So pet industry is pretty huge in the Kansas City area. Nonetheless, I was at Keystone Innovation Center about a year or two ago, where they have panels of different business professionals, business industry speakers come through and talk. And there was this one lady who was like the CEO of some pet company here in Kansas City, and she's talking about the pet industry is like let me see, I have it right here. In 2020, which will probably be about a year before I listened to that talk, the pet food and treats industry the total pet industry expenditures was $99 billion. And that was 3 years ago. And the breakdown was pet and food and treats, $36.9 billion. A lot of that being based out of Kansas City because the railroad runs through here. And we're able to transfer a lot of things like easily out of the Midwest. And then supplies, live animals, and medicine is $19.2 billion. Vet care and product sales, which, by the way, Boss and I met a guy in Austin, Texas, who sold a software company that does something for veterinarians for like 44 million. He was like 23 years old, something like that. And I was just like, veterinary care, like you forget how much, like there's just so many different lanes of business you can be in. I don't think about software for veterinarians. Like I just don't think about that in my head, or software being specific and niche for veterinarians. But he has some shit, sold it to a huge veterinarian, like private equity company that invests in veterinarian style businesses or whatever, sold it to them for some stupid amount. And I was like, that's just the world is an interesting place. Anyways, other services, $10.3 billion. So being that Kansas City is the headquarters of a lot of random companies, I think if you happen to be a dog lover and all you've ever thought about was the only thing I could do is just be a veterinarian because I love dogs, but you happen to love crunching numbers and business and you love having a creative mind and you live here in Kansas City, maybe you should look into interning for one of the pet food companies here in Kansas City and look at different areas that they could improve or optimize their processes, their systems, or just back-end things or administration. There's so many areas you could build a business around, and Kansas City would be a great place to build a pet-focused startup. That was just on my mind while we were talking about that earlier. I thought I should break down the numbers of how big the industry is, the fact that pet food, or dog food specifically, is huge here in Kansas City, and how someone might be able to exploit that market.
Yeah, absolutely. If I were to start a business and I had either of these things, these are the two industries I would be in. I would be in pets and babies. People spend a lot of money on their pets, and they spend a lot of money on their babies. So get into one of those. But yeah, I saw a company. I think it's called Nature Select, and I don't know if they're based out of Kansas City, but I saw one of their trucks driving around. I was like, why is there a pet food truck that's like a Mercedes Sprinter van, like like an Amazon truck, just like totally branded for pet food driving around? They do pet food delivery, bro. You can get your pet food delivered straight to your door. And I was like, that's actually pretty awesome. Because one, when you go to the grocery store and you're trying to like, you go to Walmart or Target or Hy-Vee or Price Chopper or whatever to get food, you're not really trying to like pick up dog food at like that same time. Like it's in a different aisle and then like it's kind of smelly. You ever been to the pet aisle? It's not.
It smells a little weird.
Yeah, it's funky. And you're like, and then like the food is like the bag's like 20 to 50 pounds. It's just very cumbersome to like drag that. So if you're an older person or you're just a single mom or or you're just lazy, like you just don't want to pick up this big ass bag and like whatever, right? Pet food delivery. I think that like that would go really hard on a Google Ads play, and that would go really hard on SEO play. You just talk about all the different types of pet foods and just like help people buy and figure out which pet food they need, and then also just throw in, oh yeah, and by the way, we do free deliveries on that too. So boom, just acquiring customers.
And while he was talking about that, I just discovered something. Kansas City pet food players make up 61% of U.S. sales.
Oh, that's crazy.
Pet food companies within the Kansas City Animal Health Corridor represent 61% of the total pet food sold in the U.S. and 49% of global pet food sales.
Amazing.
So pet food manufacturers, let's see if any companies pop up so we can just shout them out real quick. Maybe we can get them on the show. Anchor by, let's see. Considering the animal shit, I'm just trying to find some quick shit. KC Animal Health comprises more than 300 companies and organizations involved in the animal health and nutrition, industry. And this is Kansas City and surrounding as well, ladies and gentlemen. So this is Manhattan, Kansas, Columbia, Missouri. Well, these are like anchor cities that kind of help support Kansas City in this effort. So we have. In between those towns lie several facilities of some of the U.S. and world's largest pet food manufacturers. So Hill's Pet Nutrition, Mars Pet Care, Nestle Purina Pet Care, Big Heart Pet Brands with 2 facilities in Kansas, Casey Del Monte Pet Products, U.S. Presidents of Hills, K-Down, like just a whole bunch of shit, Zupreme, Cargill, Buttermilling. So there's just a massive amount of companies in that space. Anybody that loves dogs, maybe you should explore that route if you're not super into being like a veterinarian necessarily, or you want more options in terms of career paths. So I found that to be really interesting because you always find out some weird shit about Kansas City where it's just like, oh, I didn't know that was here. Like nobody knows Hallmark's headquarters here if they're not from Kansas City.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that Hallmark owns Crayola. And nobody knows that What else? One of the biggest trucking companies in the country is headquartered here. I forgot the name of them.
H&R Block as well.
Yeah, H&R Block, one of the largest tax preparers in the country, headquartered here and started here.
Garmin too, yeah.
Garmin, very large company, founded here. There's too many. There's too many companies headquartered here that nobody really thinks about being headquartered here. And so when we think about different industries that function here, that's why I find it fun to go to Keystone Innovation Center to like listen to these conversations, because you never know like who has their hand in what here in Kansas City, especially for people who are trying to get out of here and get to these bigger cities. I'm one of them. Don't get me wrong, but I do understand that you can build whatever you want. You can build a strong career. You can build a strong business. You can be involved in most spaces, make good money, and grow your career if you're not, entrepreneurial here in Kansas City.
I think there's two distinct advantages of Kansas City. One is geography, where we're located. And with that, the second one being time zone, right? Like Central Time is, I think, the superior time zone. You're like just behind Eastern Time, so you're like not too far from when the market's open. And then you're like, it's just superior.
Yeah,
it just is.
For sure.
You're not too far behind of anyone else, and like you still
sports is always on at a good time.
Exactly.
It's never a horrible time for sports to be on. So tell me a little bit about what you found out about a specific company. We're not going to name their name, but a specific company is looking to sell. They're in the real estate media space where they do newsletters and write-ups daily about commercial real estate in downtown Kansas City, and they're looking to sell or get rid of the company. So I just want you to talk about, I guess, more about what they do, or to describe what I just described a little bit better, and then what would be some areas you would try to make more efficient or double down on in order to grow this type of business?
Yeah, so right now it's just a website that produces daily articles about the urban core and downtown development in Kansas City. And they send out I believe it's a weekly email, just with updates about the articles that are being produced and written. And they currently produce revenue by sponsored posts. So instead of writing a post about 3 light being built, it'll be like, oh, this is just like a post about some real estate, or like just whatever company wants to post, and just have a dedicated article to them. And then also they'll have subscribers as well. And I don't know the specifics of how that subscription revenue is made, but there are some pretty revenue coming in that way. What I would do to grow this business is I would start a YouTube channel, and I would turn every article into a video. So whether that's somebody talking on camera, or you just do a voiceover with actual images and media that's being produced on whatever story you're covering, that would be a very simple way to monetize through ad revenue and grow your audience as well. I would put out a newsletter daily. I would write more opinionated pieces about it instead of delivering just the factual stuff. Hey, here's our hot take on what people should do with the new community grocery
3 light is trash.
Right.
3 light is trash. Why y'all put another building up like that? The lights look ugly. Nobody likes the number 3. It's not even a lucky number. Yeah, like that. Sorry, go ahead.
Exactly like that, right? So just...
My bad, audio. My bad. I know I yelled in the mic a little bit. My apologies. But
yeah, just getting spicy with it, and really just giving some raw energy in terms of your opinions about stuff. And then I would put more sponsored content into that newsletter as well. I would have a sponsored, just something right in the middle. It's today's article is brought to you by whatever. KC company about kcburgers.com or whatever, right? I don't know if that's a real website. Don't quote me. So yeah, just stuff like that. So you've got YouTube content, you've got the more sponsored content in the newsletter, which you're going to make more regularly. And then I think one of the other things that could be really interesting to do with that is actually growing out social media accounts. So you could grow social media accounts with the video content and start posting across all their socials. I didn't see any social media accounts that were active for this website, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I personally Well, shut that shit down. Effective immediately. I'm tired of reading about commercial real estate in Kansas City. I'm playing. I actually love it. That gentleman posts a lot on Facebook. It kind of keeps you up to date. I've always been a fan of like newsletter-ish write-ups or blog posts, or even I'm really a fan of, what's the guy's name, Move to KC or whatever on Instagram. Move to KC or Moving to Kansas City. You love his shit. You literally
Move to KC,
I saw your eyes wander around like you couldn't think.
_2_KC.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
That.
I think what he does
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, I think what he does is kind of funny because he creates some really good content, and then on occasion he posts a real estate property. And so I'm like, are you a real estate agent or not? And if you are, why aren't you posting more about your real estate business? Like, just more. Like, not necessarily on the main page, but I just feel like he could be pushing that a little bit more if that's what he does as a career. Now, I've seen him post like properties here and there. I don't know if he does that as like real estate agents pay him, because that would be honestly pretty smart too. I don't know if real estate agents pay him and are like, hey, can you post this property on your space? Or can you come do a walkthrough for us or with us, because they already have an audience, things of that nature, and then like take a referral fee for anybody who reaches out through them. I know we talked about on the show the referral fees that you can charge. I don't know. I wonder how he's exploiting that space, and I'd love to have him on the podcast to discuss that more in depth. But
I don't think he is. I think he's like building a lot of good faith with his audience,
which is smart.
I think that like
I just feel like he's been doing it for like 3 years already.
It's a longer play, man. I mean, he's got 216 posts on Instagram, so it's moving_2_KC. Kyle is our guy.
Shout out Kyle.
He's got 30,000 followers on Instagram, and he's got 216 posts.
Well, does his YouTube in the link in bio?
Probably. He just started YouTube though? Hasn't been doing that very long, has he?
Is it in there though?
It is, yeah.
How many subscribers he got?
1.6 thousand.
Okay, so he's growing. Yeah. Fuck
50,
yeah.
50 videos.
Shout out to you, Kyle or Tyler?
Kyle.
Tom? I'm playing. Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. Come on the show. We're getting ready to wrap this show up, but what I wanted to do to wrap this up in honor of the best rapper of all time, we are going to we're gonna spit some lyrics, some business lyrics from the great Hova. Okay? Jay-Z. Brooklyn legend. When it's hot, get on my money spot in every state, like the Wiz in Camelot. The mom and pops is the gate, but first we scope shit, advertise in every area. Let the fiends know, hey, we got some dope shit. Go ahead, don't need a middleman, so we look to radio. Okay, that's not good enough. Let's find another one. Actually, that was fire, but, we trying to dive into something. True this, the streets school us to spend our money foolish. Bomb with jewelers and watch for intruders. I stepped it up another level, meditated like a Buddhist. Recruited lieutenants and ludicrous dreams of getting cream. Let's do this. A great lyric from Can I Live? An amazing song off Reasonable Doubt. One more, because who doesn't love Jay-Z? If somebody would have told him that Hove would sell clothing not in this lifetime, wasn't in my right mind. That's another difference that's between me and them. I smarten up, open the market up. That's a wrap. Voices of Value Podcast. Leave a 5-star review. Share with a friend. Follow Milad J. Ghasempour on IG. And, share with a friend. Pull up Leo Moreno Jr. Boxing Club, Overland Park. Bing, bing, baka, buku.
Go to the gym.